Le ciel bleu sur nous peut s'effondrer et la terre peut bien s'écrouler. Peu m'importe si tu m'aimes, je m'en fous du monde entier. Tant que l'amour inondera mes matins, tant que mon corps frémira sous tes mains. Peu m'importe les problèmes, mon amour.
Macy is an absolutely huge Celine Dion fan. Hello, Macy. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you? Yes, I've been a fan since I was 6 years old.
Amazing. What is it about Celine that inspires you? I know you've told us before, but I think it's that she makes you want to sing, I think is what you said.
Yes, exactly. Her passion shines through, her willingness to be, her pure heart through all the fame and success. She still remains down to earth, and just her beautiful voice and everything. I truly admire it.
Celine has just had a triumphant, possibly the highlight of her career when she climbed up that Eiffel Tower for the Paris Olympics 2024. And I think the interpretation is Hymn of Love. I could be wrong. Listeners, let me know.
Yes, Hymn of Love. It's originally by Edith Piaf. There is an English version, but Celine happened to sing the French version. And it was truly amazing.
So tell us about it. Everyone, I haven't read a single negative comment about this performance, which is fantastic. In the world of pop, a rare thing. People loved after that very long opening ceremony, which I personally loved. Some people said it was too long, but I thought it was just a triumph at the end to have Celine, given everything she's been through. I mean, it just added to the gravity of it, right? Yeah.
So I originally heard she was going to be singing with Lady Gaga, and that's what everyone was saying. And so I shared that on my fan page. And I was watching the Olympics, and I was literally about to turn it off because there was no Celine. And I was just about to turn it off, and then I heard her voice, and I'm like, wait, it's Celine! And I was just like freaking out happy, and she sounded so thrilled, and you could hear the passion in her voice, and you could tell that she was ready. And after watching her documentary, I was scared that she was pushing herself, and that something was gonna go wrong. And her vocals were flawless. She did an amazing job.
Macy, I watched that documentary, and it devastated me. And I'm not saying that lightly. It moved me to tears, particularly towards the end, where they have that very graphic, at least 10 minutes, I think it is, of her going through a health episode. It was devastating. But to go back to the more triumphant moment, which is what we're talking about, I feel like I could see on her face just how momentous this occasion was.
Oh, yeah. Well, this isn't only her first time at the Olympics. This is her second time. And Celine, if you know Celine, she always goes above and beyond. She's just not going to make a comeback. She's going to do everything she can to make it the best way possible. And that's what I truly admire about her, is she won't just settle for anything, she's got to be all or nothing.
I think we all heard that rumor that she'd be there with Lady Gaga, and when I was watching, and by the way, it was about 4 a.m. here in Australia, so that's dedication, folks. I was watching. But when Lady Gaga came out and did that, I thought if Celine pops out in the middle of this quite bizarre performance, I'd be disappointed. I liked the performance Lady Gaga did, but it wouldn't have been right for Celine to take part in that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I felt the exact same way. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed too soon and too...
silly.
It just wasn't the right... Yeah, exactly.
Look, honestly, I kept watching it thinking if Celine pops out from behind these sort of makeup feathers, whatever they were, those round, fluffy things, I thought, this is not good. This is not the comeback. It's not dignified.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I was like you. I just kept... I knew actually, instinctively, I knew as they were doing the boats up the River Seine towards, the lighting of the torch and all of that. I knew they were saving Celine for the absolute epic finale.
Well, you gotta save the best for last, and I think they did a very good job of doing that. And it's crazy if you know Edith Piaf, her life story is pretty sad, and I really think Hymne à l'amour really resonates with Celine and Edith, and I just think it kind of shows how much they have in common.
Was I right that it translates into hymn of love, essentially?
Hymn to love.
Hymn to
Yes.
love. Can you help us people who have no idea about the lyrics? What's the song about?
So Edith Piaf wrote the song about her lover, and I believe he died in 1949. And basically, she's saying, let whatever happen, and I will still, I don't care as long as you will love me. And then if you die, basically, she's saying she'll have eternity with him. So that basically nothing matters because they're in love. And it's
Oh my
super
God.
sweet.
As if it wasn't poignant enough. But now to think, because Celine and her team, they would have put in a lot of thought into the selection of the song. It needed to be beautiful. It needed to be epic. It needed to be a celebration of what the Olympics are, which is equality and love and fair competition, I suppose. And eternity is a big theme of the Olympics. But it says so much about what she's going through too.
Exactly. And not only that, but Paris is the city of love, and Celine, literally, her main thing is love. So I think it was just all perfect.
Macy, there were some people saying that she mimed it and that was a problem. What do you think?
What does mimed mean exactly? I'm sorry.
So miming when she wasn't singing live, that she'd pre-recorded it and then
Oh, yes. I honestly don't think Celine would lip sync, especially at something as grand as the Olympics. She said in the Vogue magazine she wanted to see the Eiffel Tower again, and if she was going to come back on stage, she was going to scream it from the rooftops. And I really don't think that was a pre-recorded thing. I mean, you could hear her taking her breaths. You could hear the so much emotion in her voice. I mean, I'm 95% positive it was real.
well, tell me this. Let's say it comes out, even maybe she may confirm, but because of what we saw in the documentary, where she has to work so hard to retrain and strengthen her voice again,
Mm-hmm.
if it comes out that she spent a long time doing that part by part and getting it stitched together so that it could be as beautiful as it needed to be for such an event, would it matter?
Of course not. No, I would understand the effort that it took her to get to that point. And I support her no matter what, because I know she's doing her best either way.
It's one of those performances that will be played forever, I believe, too, because it was almost like a historic piece of footage, the whole opening ceremony, but
Oh, yes.
particularly her. And the history books will tell the tale. This lady up on top of the Eiffel Tower, the symbolism of it, and people will tell the story about what was going on in her life to lead to that amazing moment. Macy, you're a singer yourself, aren't you?
Yes, I love to sing.
And did Celine Dion inspire that, essentially?
Oh, yes. She inspired my very first performance. It was at my school talent show when I was 12 years old.
Tell us about that.
My Heart Will Go On.
Really? Your first performance and you tried the very vocally difficult My Heart Will Go On.
Yes.
Brave.
It
How'd you
was about
go?
7 years ago.
Wow. Oh, so you're 19 or so.
Yes, I'm 19.
Such a young Celine fan, which is fantastic. My Heart Will Go On. Do you remember the performance and how it went?
Yes, so I was one of the last ones, and I was wearing, I believe, I can't see, but if I remember correctly, I think it was a golden dress. And I was so excited, and I finally sang, and I only made one mistake. Instead of saying, I believe that the heart does go on, I accidentally said, I believe that my heart will go on. And But otherwise, it literally made everyone in the whole auditorium cry, and they loved it.
Oh, that's beautiful. And nobody would have noticed that drop. Performers always notice their little errors, but nobody else does.
Exactly.
It's how you go on, as the song would say. You've told me that
Yes.
you're blind, Macy. Does that make music all the more important to you by any chance?
Yes, actually. My whole world is centered around, sound, touch, and smell. And when I hear music, it tells me a lot about the person. Um, and I'm actually very picky of what music I listen to. Um, I tend to like the, emotional older songs because for me, it just touches my heart and I'm just able to connect with it better than more modern auto-tune usage, if that makes sense.
Well, you have fine taste too. If Celine's one of your favourites, is it right to
Oh
say
no,
that
she's about the only one I listen to.
you have her on high rotation? I love that. And all the pop fans that listen to this podcast are about the only people in the community who will relate and applaud to that, because other people are like, why don't you get some variety in there? It's like, no, once you find your favourite, you find your favourite.
Exactly. Well, and I have a friend, and she's actually from Australia, and we actually run a page called the Celine Fan Clan, and it's on Facebook, and we post, all the news, reels, stuff of Celine Dion, because, Celine's our passion.
There you go, listeners. The Celine Fan Clan. Go look for it on Facebook. Macy, if you are legally blind, does that mean you've never seen Celine, even when you were younger?
Exactly. Nope. I've heard her described to me, and I've heard her voice, but that's about it.
So do you have your own picture of Celine in your head?
Yes, actually.
Would you share?
Well, it's hard to explain. I don't like, it's not something that would be visual. I just imagine her as like very, very beautiful, and whatever the most beautiful uh would look like is definitely, I'd say, Celine Dion.
It's pretty special that you get to make up the physical that accompanies the voice.
Yes. I honestly see my blindness more as a blessing than a curse because, a lot of people judge people for based on how they look, but I look at, what's on the inside, and, that's it's more important what's in the heart rather than what you're wearing. And yes, what you're wearing can tell a lot about a person, but it can't tell everything.
No, but when people sing, my God, you can see into their soul, can't you?
Exactly.
Oh, Macy, it's been so beautiful talking to you. You seem like such an attuned person, as I say, a person of fine taste, since Celine is on your menu. And I'm so pleased that I got to speak to a super Celine fan about her Olympics performance, because it really did give me goosebumps, and I wanted to share that with somebody who'd feel the same.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Anytime. Celine is and will always be my number one favorite, and she'll always have a place close to my heart.
J'irai jusqu'au bout du monde, je me ferai teindre en blonde, si tu me le demandes. J'irai décrocher la lune, j'irai voler la fortune, si tu me la demandes. Je renierai ma patrie, je renierai mes amis, si tu me le demandes. On peut bien dire de moi, je ferai n'importe quoi, si tu me le demandes. Si un jour la vie t'arrache à moi, si tu meurs, que tu sois loin de